Brock, I have a question for you.
Please.
What is your favorite childhood memory with your brother?
Well, Kyle and I are 7 years apart. So I guess I was like, my favorite thing was always, because I was so much younger than him. Like, I started middle school when he went off to college. Like, that's how, like, what worlds apart we are. So,
Right.
you know, so I would always feel so cool when he would invite me to, like, hang out in our basement with his friends. You know, or like, there's one time where he and all his friends pierced their ears Lindsay Lohan style in our basement, and I got to help with the apple, with the like sterilizing the safety pins, with the ice cubes.
Did Priscilla know about this?
Priscilla facilitated it. But I got to help out, and oh my god, it was the coolest thing ever to be a part of it.
Were you a miracle baby? Were you one of those, or like did your parents actually want kids 7 years apart?
Dad owns a financial planning business, so he's very like, we've got to make sure that like we don't have kids in college at the same time. We can afford to pay them to go to college, and money. So
this makes so much sense for why you are how you are. Also,
I have half of my mom and half of my dad. I am very of both worlds. How about you and Cosmo? I forget what your other brother's name is. Cosmo and Ben.
Yeah.
What are your
Cosmo
favorite memories?
And Ben. So I have different memories. I have like very different experiences with both of them, because my older brother and I were super close in age, and we were like little kids together well before Ben even came in the picture. And so what we used to do, and then Ben joined, but like, he was a little baby when we grew out of this thing that I'm about to say by the time he was kind of age to do it. But there are two things. My dad would wear his underwear until there were holes in them. Like, literally. No. Yes. And so he would get rid of his underwear when my mom would make him get rid of his underwear.
Of course, yeah.
So we used to have these I just realized maybe this was only one memory, because how could it possibly have happened more than once? It just really stuck out in my head. I guess just the one time, or maybe my mom would like dole them out. We would jump on the bed and tear apart his underwear.
Oh, you'd take that hole and you'd just say, "These are done."
And then we would wrestle on the bed and try to make each other fart.
Oh, good. Oh, great.
Like, we would wrestle and then get each other, the goal was to get the other one on their back and hold their legs, like, over their head until they farted.
Also, just your dad wearing underwear with holes in them, just falling apart at the literal seams. That is such a dad thing to happen. Right?
And now, being married, I'm like, oh my God, yeah. Cronny's going to hate that I'm saying this on camera. But I will say, little lesson, his socks also. His socks. I'm like, get new socks. What are you doing?
God,
work.
that's a lifestyle I will never understand.
I know, and you shouldn't. And then my little brother, my favorite memory is obviously constantly dressing him up like a Spice Girl.
Oh. Which one?
I think it was Baby Spice, because he's my little baby.
Little Emma Bunton. This is all to say, should we recap episode 109, Siblings?
I think we have to now.
We have no other choice. And also, we're going to talk to your future husband. That's a Megan Trainor. Dear future husband, Beau Wirick, who played Sean Donahue.
All that and so much more. So let's get to middling.
Welcome to Middling with Eden and Brock, where Eden and I break down an episode of The Middle each and every week. Eden, I have to say, I was very excited to do this with you, because we haven't had you and me time in a very long time, because we've backlogged a lot of these like recaps, and we've just been doing interviews. We don't get a lot of alone time, and now we get a lot of alone time now. But I haven't discussed or debriefed. You filmed your short film. Tell me everything.
I did. Oh my God, it was great. It was really great. It was genuinely great. It was, I didn't know what it was going to be like. I had never worked with my husband in that kind of capacity, because he wrote it with his writing partner and directed it with his writing partner, Angela Beavers, who's amazing.
I don't know if I realized that they directed as well. Great.
Yeah, I didn't know until after. I mean, not after, but like I knew that. I didn't realize. I found out after that they were planning on directing it together also.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had a lot of time to prepare together as directors, but that wasn't the initial, like, I didn't know that was going to be the plan, and it ended up being fantastic.
That's
it was
great.
Such a relief. Yeah, it was really, really a relief, because that could have gone so south. Like, can you imagine just like marital spats being like, don't tell me what to do?
The thing you posted yesterday, a couple days ago, of like the behind the scenes stuff, one, it looked like a blast. You swinging that microphone around, and then that little blooper was so funny. You looked great.
Thank you.
Do you want to share? What is the story?
Yeah, I hope I can share. It's based off a pilot. It was just like kind of an abridged version of a pilot that they had written. They kind of wanted to just shoot proof of concept. And I think it worked. It was like a 15, 16 page. So it was going to be like a 15-minute, like half a pilot type of thing.
Yeah.
Just an abridged. And so it's based off of Angela's real life. She's from Fresno, and her mom died when she was 24. And she kind of had to move back home and help her dad. And so it's called Casserole Bitches. And it's because when her mom died, every woman over 50 just showed up with all kinds of casseroles. And suddenly her dad was this hot commodity, and she had to basically like fend off these very thirsty golden ladies
Who were like now out on the prowl. They had their
like her
eyes
mom's
set on the new
best
target.
friend. Yes,
Oh my
literally.
God. Wait,
Literally.
that's fun. That sounds great.
It was great. And there was this actress from Chicago Fire who's Angela's real best friend from high school, named Miranda Mayo. I actually realized I didn't know how to pronounce her last name, but she's absolutely fantastic. And then this actor who, if you don't know his name, you know his face. His name is John Carroll Lynch. Do you know him?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what's crazy is that apparently I found out on set he was the only other person who screen tested to be Mike Heck.
Oh, wait, you told me that. Well, remember,
Yes.
It's so funny that you found out through another channel because, when we had him, he was like, and only one other person went to network for Mike, and I'm not going to tell you who it is. And we're like, okay, we won't press. And yet you found out anyway.
Yeah. And so it's crazy that he ended up playing my dad in another thing.
So you're playing the fictionalized version of Angela? Is that what it is?
So I'm playing Angela. And so that scene, that blooper with the microphone, I was waiting to give this like huge monologue, the like big eulogy thing at the top of the show, top of the short, whatever. And I was just like in thought, it was a huge monologue, and I was just like kind of mentally preparing, like my mom died, so I need to like get in the headspace, whatever. So I'm just mindlessly twisting, like spinning with all my might this microphone till it flings off.
It's like a helicopter about to take off, just whirling,
Yes.
whirling.
So that was that. So we did that. It was really, 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 it was lovely. I hope something, we'll see what happens with it. We'll see.
I'm sure it'll be, I mean, I know how talented your husband is. I'm sure Angela's just as talented. I obviously know you, sweet little baby Eden, how talented you are. What network wouldn't want this pilot?
Stop. Seriously, it's so sweet. It's about really like the father-daughter relationship. It's a great project. I'm very proud of it.
Make sure you show it to me when it's finished or in some sort of a state where I could see it. I would love to see it.
Absolutely. Obviously, I want your on camp. Actually, I can't ask for notes. It's not my thing. That's up to the directors. How about you? What's going on?
Not as exciting. I've started drinking Diet Coke.
As opposed to regular Coke, or like just out of nothing? Like you were drinking water, and now you're like, I'm going to switch to Diet Coke.
That's exactly what it is. So I stopped drinking all kinds of soda when I went to college, and so I was like, I'm just gonna do water and black coffee. That's what the only liquids that I put into my body usually, or a lemon drop shot, as we discussed a couple weeks ago. But like straight up just soda or pop, whatever you want to call it, I hadn't done. But then I'll go out to dinner with my friend Sam, and he'll be like, can I have a extra dry vodka martini with 3 olives and a Diet Coke?
That feels classic. I feel like I know this person. I know who does that.
And like we'll go to a movie and he'll get like the extra large drink and just Diet Coke from that, that huge machine that has all the million flavors. So he'll just do Diet Coke. And then finally, now it's only when I go to AMC, but like Cameron and I went to, this was over the summer, Inside Out 2, and I was feeling a little kooky crazy. And so I usually get a water bottle at the concession stands with my, Reese's Pieces or whatever. And then I said, and I'll take a regular sized drink. And I marched my ass and I got a Diet Coke. And Eden, it is so good. It's so good. I hadn't had it in, I don't know how many years that is, but 10, 13, 14 years. And it is so good. So now it's just my little treat whenever I go to the movies. So we just saw Beetlejuice over the weekend, Cameron and I I said, I can't wait for the chicken tenders and the Diet Coke I'm going to get.
I'm so happy for you. I truly love that for you, Brock. Really? I always, whenever someone orders a Diet Coke, I'm like, I need that in my mouth and body, in my tummy right now. And I always order one, and I always drink 3 sips, and I'm like, this is amazing. And then I feel so sick.
Well, I'm wired, so like after Inside Out 2, Cameron and I had to sleep in separate bedrooms because he goes, you're gonna thrash, you're not gonna sleep, you're not sleeping next to me tonight. There's no way. He goes, go to the guest room.
Know your limits as a couple. I love it.
Absolutely.
All right. On that note, should we do some middle minutes?
Let's do it. All right, Eden, episode 109, Siblings. The summary, the logline, seeing the Donahue kids being nice together at Booster Club. Frankie becomes self-conscious of her parenting skills and tries to gather her own family for, quote, family fun. Meanwhile... Wikipedia loves those meanwhiles. Meanwhile, Mike must fire Aunt Edie as the quarry's accountant after she makes a huge mistake with the checks.
This episode was written by Rob Yulin and directed by the sitcom legend Barnett Kellman.
The guest cast for this episode, once again, her second episode, Jen Ray as Nancy Donahue, Beau's second episode, and our guest that later on this afternoon as Sean Donahue, Beau Wirick as Sean Donahue, Jeanette Miller as Aunt Edie, Frances Bay as Aunt Ginny, Troy Metcalf, his first episode as Jim, Malcolm Foster Smith, who I adore, as well as Dave, also his first episode, Laura Ann Kessling as Dottie Donahue, and Sam Shooter as Shelley Donahue. Wow,
Big
a lot of
guest
people
cast
established.
Again.
No kidding.
Yeah, that was at Dottie and Shelley's first appearance as people. All right.
Yeah.
All right, this one aired Wednesday, December 2nd, 2009, 8:37:30 Cent. Viewers, 6.19. We're holding steady. Right?
I'll take, at that point, that feels nice and consistent for us. So anything in this 6 range, I think we're A-okay. Top movie of the week, Twilight New Saga, or Twilight Saga. The Twilight Saga. Again, Twilight Saga New Moon. Once again. And again, Empire State of Mind, Alicia Keys. It didn't change at all from last week. They stayed consistent.
Wow. Well, these were pretty iconic pieces of media. So I get it. So that's it. That's it for the mid-mins. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. I don't know if you've been waiting for this, but I have been because I'm excited to talk about this episode. We're going to break down the episode. So here we go. We start off. At Booster Club, Nancy Donahue tells Frankie she's been elected as the chairwoman of the Winter Wreath Sale. Yikes. And Frankie, the inciting moment of the incident. Oh, God. Jeez. Brock, what's happening with me? Moment that kicks it all off.
Wait, I also meant to show you, do they have these in Love Island UK? Because these are the water bottles from Love Island US. And so I have one.
They do.
With my name on it.
Brock, obviously so do I, and so does Connie.
Wait, for real?
Yes, of course.
Oh my gosh. Cameron got this for me as a little surprise.
No, I love that. They actually changed them. In the older seasons, it was a clear water bottle.
Oh, okay.
And so we have the clear ones, but when our kids were born, our friends got them sippy cups with their names on them. Like in the Love Island font.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I meant to show you this before we started recording, but then I just took a sip and was like, wait. I have to show you.
I'm so happy you have that. We have to talk about this we finally finished this last season. Like last night.
Of US?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it was such a fantastic season. I can't believe I've never finished an episode, or I've never finished a season of US before. But I think UK is getting a little bit boring, honestly.
Oh, well, this season they had a really good cast of characters. I loved Serena and Cordell. Cordell now has a Cheez-Its campaign. Does he actually? Good. Yes.
Good for him.
Yes.
Good for him.
Yes.
Good for him. Yeah, no, he's the best. They're the best. We actually didn't we didn't go to the finale, but honestly, the finale is like the most boring episode. It's like we at that point we're just like, okay, are they all together? What the hell is happening with Kayla and Aaron? Like,
oh my God.
Let's just, and now we can just like, I can just look up the winners. I don't really care, and then we can just chill with the finale. I really want to watch the reunion though.
You can skip when they have a whole 20-minute unedited. You know, when the whole Leah, Olivia, Serena, where they're trying to decide, should we get rid of Andrea or should we get rid of whoever her name is, Nicole?
Yeah.
They show the whole 20-minute unedited convo, and guess what? It's not exciting. I kept waiting and waiting, and I sat there waiting for something interesting to happen, and it never did. So I said, finale's fine. Just you can skip that part, which they spend 20 minutes on, and it's just like, okay, nothing exciting happened.
I don't need to see all their last dates. I don't care. They say the exact same thing. I've watched 12 seasons of this show. Like, I know what the dates are. Oh, we're so excited to be together. Are you still together 3 weeks later?
But did you watch the final dates where Kendall went out with Nicole and they sat on the beach and he's trying to like say I love you, and the man cannot stop sweating. He is a geyser of sweat, and he's like just expressing his love, and he keeps like dabbing himself off with his the back of his hand, and he's sweating and he's exhausted and he's dehydrated and he's trying to express his love, and he looks like
I don't know about Kendall. He kind of grew on me, but like that, I feel like I have no sympathy. I'm like, okay, you're sweaty.
Yeah. I liked him at the beginning because I also resonate with him a lot because he wants everyone to like him, and so do I. But then my friends, whenever we would discuss this, they would be like, Brock, you can't like Kendall. That's why we don't like him, because he has no backbone. And then I took a long, hard look at myself in the mirror, and I was like, maybe that's me.
I don't know, man.
Like me.
I don't think that. I think that I think you're aware of it, and it's for that. That's why it's endearing on you.
Sure.
I think Kendall has no idea what his like. He needs therapy.
So anyway, this is not the Love Island.
No, podcast. This is not After Sun. This is not Morning After.
Oh my God.
Let's get back to middling.
You were just talking about the inciting incitement. I'm pretty sure is what you
the moment.
Said. Yes.
The exciting incitement. Here's what happens. Frankie sees just how close the Donahue children are, and she says, "Aye."
Yeah. It's so. I think that's exactly how she did it in the show too, just like that. So funny watching this, at least this scene, because I am curious. Like, Jen, when we had that interview with Jen, she was saying that her sides say Nancy Donahue. So I'm sure that maybe Jen was always supposed to be a character named Nancy, but the like always perfect, always running Booster Club character was maybe destined for someone new that they were going to write. But then maybe this is the moment, because this feels like this was premeditated, that they're like, actually, let's bring Jen back in and plug her into that role and just keep it and not create a new character, but make it the Nancy character. But because I was like, ooh, they gave her a lot more compared to her, one little scene with Patty in her first episode.
They like immediately started writing to her, clearly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then at home, Frankie witnesses each kid watching the same TV show in 3 separate rooms because they can't agree on volume.
Truly, which actually made me laugh out loud this episode. It actually, this, like, I forgot about this. I forgot about that. And I don't even remember filming that. A lot of stuff I'm like, oh my God, this makes me remember, like, oh, right, I'm sent back, right, like, I'm sent there. I have no recollection of filming this.
Oh my God. Well, because also, did they just put a TV in for this episode in the kitchen? Because they had, I can't remember, was there always one in the literal kitchen and then one in the kitchen table room, whatever you want to call that?
Here's why you can get away with, where the middle specifically is able to get away with so much continuity errors, because you can just say it was covered with crap. We never saw it before. It was just covered with crap. It might have been. If you look at another episode, there's just a mountain of crap there. And it's like, yeah, okay, sure, there was a TV there.
I mean, it didn't bump me whatsoever. Also, did you clock? I had no clue. I rewound it twice to make sure I was hearing it. And then I turned on the subtitles to make sure I was hearing it correctly. Sue mentions in that little flash where actors, Wrestlerettes. You call them, well, because I was like, she's not saying Wrestlerettes. And so I turned on the subtitles. You call them, I wrote it down, Wrestlerettes.
Are you sure it wasn't Wrestlerettes?
At least the subtitles said Wrestlerettes. But like, yeah, I mean, whatever it was, it's referencing exactly what happens in whatever 2-3 seasons from now.
I had the exact same reaction. I was like, oh my God, they planted that so early. And I was thinking, or like Cronny was like, they might not have been a plant. It might have just been a one-off. And then they were like, remember that joke? Like, what if we bring that back? Like that was fun.
Well, because my wonder is, do you remember, and I don't remember, I always thought, or in my mind, that Sue created the Wrestlerettes. It wasn't something she was trying to join. Am I wrong in that? I thought you created it.
No, you're right. I think you are right.
So that is so fun. That is so fun. And also, of course, we say this every episode, but Charlie's physical comedy when he's like trying to strangle himself and, shoot himself. It's very funny.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So then, at the quarry, Mike brings Aunt Edie for her yearly booking help to keep the books all in order, which she apparently does every single year.
I love this B story. It was simple, and just perfect. It was great.
And she's funny. Jeanette Miller is funny in that role. The gray popping out of the black wig will never not be funny to me.
You want to know something crazy? I did not realize that that's what that was until rewatching it.
Did you think it was Roots or something?
Yeah, I didn't understand. I was like, why? I don't get why she's wearing that wig. I didn't think about it. And I was like, oh, she's like wearing a wig over. I don't even know how to explain how I didn't understand it. Because it's like, what didn't you understand about wearing a wig? But I didn't. So Nancy Donahue comes over to the house, checks on the wreaths. Again, it's another thing that I, as a Jew, I just did not understand this part of the episode. I just didn't. I was like when we shot it, I was like, what does that even mean? I don't know what this part, I don't know what this job is. I don't understand why there are wreaths in I didn't understand anything that was happening. I just accepted it. So
people
now,
probably buy wreaths, right? So they spend money, which goes to the school. I think is what it is, right? But
because I didn't understand, why is she giving them to people in the neighborhood if this is something that the school does? I don't understand it. Do people do this?
Well, I'm assuming, here's my logic, and I'm probably thinking about this way too hard now that you're talking about it. See, again, these things don't even clock. So half the time I feel like the writers are like, don't worry about it. But I think what happens is so they live in the school district, and so because they volunteer for Booster Club, they're like, okay, so the people who bought wreaths from the within the district who live in your neighborhood who must go to your school, go deliver them to these families because they bought the wreaths for $20, and that goes to Wrestlerettes, and the hockey team, and getting, I don't know, new paint supplies for the theater department, or whatever that money goes to for all the clubs.
Got it. Nancy comes over. There are a bunch of wreaths that are for everyone in the school district, apparently. And she has a conversation with Frankie, and Frankie realizes, oh, yikes, I haven't done anything.
That is the function of Nancy Donahue. Popping by, showing how things are supposed to be done, and Frankie then making changes to her own life,
yes.
Which we see in the next scene because Frankie decides to have the family eat together at the dinner table, and everyone's confused. Frankie tries as hard as she can to get the family to have a civilized conversation during the family dinner, but of course, it turns into a screaming match. Go, please. I know you have a lot to say. Say it.
No, that scene, I'm shocked. That one brought back memories. That one brought back oh wow, because that took 15 hours to film. I'm not exaggerating.
Sure. That's so many setups, and just you have to get all that coverage.
Watch it again and notice that the coverage between that those are the shots. If you look at the shots on me and Axel, me and Charlie, and then the reverse on Patty and Neil, notice that Atticus is nowhere to be seen. There is not even he's not in it because he could not physically be in it because he had to get shot out because he was on kid hours at that time, which was 8 hours. So he had to be done with the scene in 8 hours, and then his stand-in Casey did the rest of the scene for the rest of the night. She read the lines.
Wait, okay, hold on. This is such a tangent. speaking of Casey, so Casey is Atticus's stand-in. The show that I'm doing the guest star on, one of the audio people is from the middle, and she was saying, I keep in touch with Casey, who's doing like work stuff for like Avatar. She's the stand-in for the kids on Avatar and doing all these crazy amazing things. How fun is that?
That's incredible.
Well, Casey's
That's amazing.
Fabulous and so nice.
Casey's
and
the best.
I said, how great that she gets to work on such amazing projects, and it's happening to a good person. I love when that stuff happens to good people.
I love her. She was so funny. She was always really fun at rap parties.
Yeah. But yes, also that I didn't notice, so they did their job. But it is so funny. They must have shot, I would assume, Atticus's stuff first to get him out of there.
100%.
Yeah.
That's what happens with kids. They just shoot them out first. And then, so whatever they can get with them in 8 hours, and then we just do the rest well into the night.
What they would probably do, like seeing how the sausage is made, as Eden just said, is they would probably shoot an angle, which I think, if I'm remembering correctly, you're looking, you're like standing up against the wall, and it's looking at the family, and like Atticus is kind of in the center. So that would have been the first shot that they would get, and then they would have punched in to get Atticus's stuff in like a medium, and then maybe a close up, and then he'd probably stay there for as long as he could before he had to leave, and then that's when they'd turn the cameras to then get you and Charlie, once he's gone because he had to leave, you and Charlie, and then Patty and Neil, and get your close-ups and your 2 shots and all that stuff.
And I was laughing. I was actually at the moment let's say our favorite, our high and our low. Yeah. I think I laughed at each of our. I always feel stupid when I laugh at my own. Like, I'm laughing at myself, okay? But I did. I made myself laugh. I didn't remember that line.
You should laugh at yourself.
My low was that I was wrong. That is a good line, and you know what? I delivered it well.
Yes, you did. And everything was so character based. Atticus saying my high is eating dinner off of the table with just my mouth, and Charlie complimenting you with your head is in proportion to your body, and your reaction being like, oh, really?
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I also, Atticus is low. Brick's low of, my low is realizing my family didn't have a chair for me. That's funny.
Which is also the beginning. I think, didn't his chair then stay at the dinner table the rest of the series? That like lawn chair, that that outside furniture.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
It's just all these little establishing things. It's so fun to witness when they kind of came into play and then were fixtures for the rest of the show.
I have to say, and this is just one other thing, I remember, so at our fabulous live watch last month with Jess Garcia, afterwards we were talking, and Jess is nothing like Nancy Donahue at all. She's the absolute best. We bond over toddler insanity, whatever. But she did, just not even the point of her story, but a detail of a story that she told was that they were all eating dinner together as a family. And I was like, your kid is even younger than mine. How do you do that? Or like, my kids are 3, hers is 2.5, and they eat dinner as a family? No, we don't eat dinner together. And it made me feel so like, oh no, what am I doing wrong? And so last night we tried. We actually were like, you know what? Yeah, we're like, you guys are old enough. You're old enough. We're all going to sit down and have dinner together.
Cute.
It did not work, Brock.
Oh no.
They were like,
oh, no.
Where's our
what happened?
book? Where's our puzzle? Because we try our best not to eat in front of the TV, because we know what's going to happen. We know it's going to happen eventually. So we try, like, they're so young, but we do, like, they just sit at the island. We have a little island in our kitchen, or they sit at the bar, like, counter area, and they just, like, eat their little, pasta with broccoli. But we let them, like, do a puzzle at the table, or, like, read a book or whatever. And we were like, you know what? Let's just try all talking about our day. They're old enough. They talk all the time. They can talk. They can remember things from their day. So let's take a moment.
Opinions.
Let's see.
They got opinions.
Oh boy, did they have opinions. So we're like, let's talk about our day. Let's talk about what our favorite, thing was. Oh my God. They were like, I want puzzle. They're like, all right, take your puzzle. Like, whatever. Fine. Okay.
Do you guys
You're
ever
done.
go?
They threw their food on the floor.
Do you guys ever go out to dinner? How's that experience?
We have in the past. It's it's just expensive, but it's good ish.
My brother, when they would go out to dinner with like his small children, and he said I would always just leave like a $30-$40 tip to the wait staff, because they just leave up. He goes, there's a mess. We try to clean it up, but inevitably They got to clean it up because we did the best we can. But so here's a lot of money because I'm so sorry.
The number, yes, maybe that's why we don't go out to eat a lot, because we do have to leave like a 40% tip. There's 60% of the time there is glass broken on the floor.
Oh no.
After it's an absolute, everyone watches TV, fine. Just like how my kids were like, fine, play your puzzle. Wait, I don't care. Mike, lovely Mike, sees how important it is to Frankie, so he forces the family, here we go, to play football outside. And Frankie comes up with this great idea. The kids team up to play against the adults, and it works, which I love. Mm-hmm.
It's that classic, if we're going with sitcom narrative, it's the false high, right? So, oh my gosh, everything is perfect. Their lives are working out. Frankie's idea is great. The kids are getting along, and it's going to inevitably come crashing down. Now, my question is, I don't think I ever filmed the show when there was snow outside. Is all of that real ice, or is it not ice?
It's crazy.
What is it?
So much of that is actual ice. It is.
Okay,
will
I
layer it with real ice, which is from my like paranoid, my like millennial like green perspective. I was just like, oh my god, this is so wasteful. Oh my god,
sure, all that water, yeah.
All that water, we're in a drought, all the energy that it takes to keep it cold while it's like 70 degrees at night. Oh my God, I was so stressed the whole time.
Oh, you're a good person. You're a very good person. It was probably filmed in, I don't know, September, October, something like that.
Yeah.
This aired in December.
It was not, I remember it being not horrible. It was not like, but it was like, we were definitely like, and fanning ourselves out in between takes.
Yeah. I mean, you're still in parkas, and September is still very summer weather for Los Angeles, which I assume is probably when you filmed it, early October.
Yeah.
Okay, so then at work, Aunt Edie accidentally gives huge bonuses to his employees, and his employees meet Mike at work to share their appreciation. As a result, Mike tries to fire Aunt Edie, who doesn't understand. My only one critique, I'm curious if you thought about this, or maybe you didn't. My only one critique from this episode, I thought that Aunt Edie and Mike scene, which I thought like it went on a little too long. I was just like, okay, it's the same joke over and over and over again. That was my one critique from this episode.
It was a little bit, like slow also. Like I felt like it should have been, maybe that's why it felt like it went on too long, because it really was, they really took their time with it. Like it wasn't snappy the way I feel like the middle usually is.
Right.
And I guess it kind of had to be because she talks pretty slow, because she's older, whether it was a choice or not. But it did go long. I was expecting it. I also was expecting it to end.
Yeah. Well, because like I think it was he tried to rephrase it to her 3 different times, and then finally he sat down and he said, "You're fired," and then they had a half a page conversation about being fired, and then it was the puzzle, where to me I was like, okay, I would have gotten the point if there was one miscommunication, he sat down, said you're fired, then she has a joke or a turn out of it that was like, okay, so let's get to work, and then he has the puzzle, a page, because it felt just a little bit, for what the middle is, it wasn't bad or anything, but I know how paced up our show usually is in terms of scene length.
Because you knew where it was going, or maybe I thought I knew where it was going. I was like, he's gonna give her a random task. That's what's gonna happen, right? He's gonna be like, organize these paper clips. And I was like, puzzle, great. Okay, yes. I do agree, but I like eventually you did, maybe it was intentional to like really feel his frustration. I was just like, oh my god, this is taking him forever. And maybe also it was a little bit selfish. I was like, I want to see the kids the adults again, because I forgot exactly how it ended.
Start fast forwarding. You're like, where am I? I'm just gonna go to my stuff.
I go into it. I black out when it's not me on the screen.
And when you're on screen, when it's just like you and the family, you're only watching yourself.
Not actually, but like obviously, definitely, because I have to like look at myself to be like, God, what did I was so young.
Yeah, well, also it's fun to like look at yourself, or at least look, not from a vanity standpoint, but like I wonder what choices I made, or at least when I watched the episodes when they would come out, I'm like, I wonder what take they use, because I know I gave it a couple different ways, and I'm curious what they landed on and stuff like that. So it's it is a little bit self-centered, but it's more so for mind a little curiosity of what am I going to do, what did I choose, what did they pick and stuff.
And then here's where I had like, oh my god, this is me as a parent. I couldn't believe it, with the like, when it every night, when it's like, oh no, we're supposed to do this every night, I'm like, it takes everything in me when I'm like, you know what? Okay, so wait, here's what happens. So Mike and Frankie are so over. They're over playing football with the kids. So Mike fakes a knee injury, and then Frankie plays with them. The kids fall back into old patterns, but the kids all share a laugh together when Frankie gives herself a bloody nose. This is great. This literally happened. This happened to me. First of all, they'll just like, oh yeah, I'm like, we can't watch another episode of Bluey. That's bad for their brains, right? Like, that's bad. Even though I'm just like, let's just watch TV. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. But I'm like, okay, like, Cronny, we have to do something. Let's have a dance party. Let's do something. Come on. Like, we gotta get up and get moving. Let's go outside and do something. And then, yes, we will do something. We'll go into we got a basketball, a little mini basketball thing, which is also sports. Like I can't believe it. Yeah, little hoop.
Yeah.
And they love it. Then they loved it. And yes, then they wanted to do it all the time. And we were like, oh no, don't you just want to watch Bluey though? What happened? And finally it was like, I was like, let's play a version where you throw to each other and then mommy and daddy will sit and we're not allowed to get up.
Well, did they fall for it? Did they do exactly that?
Absolutely not.
Oh no.
I felt terrible because they were like, no, let's just go inside and watch Bluey. And I was like, oh my God, I'm the absolute worst mother that's ever, what am I doing? Because I was like, there was a part of me that was like kind of relieved where I was like, oh yes. But I felt terrible that I was disappointing them. And then I literally I tripped.
No, you didn't.
I did. I tripped and they loved it. And then they just wanted to do that. And I was like, you know what? This somehow is better than I'll just like pretend to be, kicked again or whatever. I don't remember what it was. I'll pretend to get hurt. And that is still easier than like actually playing basketball. Oh God. It brought up a lot of feelings though, watching this episode.
No kidding. Wow, you really relate. You are Frankie Heck. Okay, well, I love that you related to that entire episode. I really, really enjoyed that episode. I had a lot of laugh out loud moments from that. And when we come back, we're talking to the man, the myth, the legend, Beau Wirick. So Eden and I are both big fans of this guest. A California native, he graduated with a degree in business and a minor in theater from USC. And to go along with that big old brain of his, he has a big heart and an immense amount of talent. You know him from his ginormous recurring role on Raising Dad, Seventh Heaven, Arrested Development, The Office, American Crime Story, and of course, 61 episodes, the most of any other recurring character, 61 episodes of The Middle as Sean Donahue. And now, having retired from acting, he can help you get rich, which reminds me, Beau, I have a couple questions for you about some assets and should I liquidate and
Bring them on.
After The Middle, he, in his own words, has closed the door on his dream to follow his passion. He now works as a wealth advisor for Morton Wealth. Please welcome Beau Wirick.
Yeah, it's so good to be here. It is so good to see you two.
We started by saying Brock was like, wow, what a stud muffin. And Beau jumped right on like, pot calling the kettle black. It's true.
Look, I hear you talking about this HIIT training stuff that you do all the time. Like, I don't know how you do that. If I go on a jog in the morning, I'm really proud of myself. So,
Brock is the fittest person I know. Second to Cam.
Yeah, Cameron's pretty fit as well. He ripped his jeans because his thighs were so big yesterday.
So he's bringing that trend back very authentically and organically. Okay,
exactly.
Lovely.
I can't get over how much of a stud muffin Beau looks like right now. Beau, how are you? Tell me everything. It's been a little bit since I've seen you. You're back in California, right?
Yeah. It's been such a journey since The Middle ended. I think the last time I saw you, I don't know when the last time I saw either one of you was. I think it was 2018. But after that, so after The Middle ended, I kind of looked at things around me, and I'd been acting for 20 years, and I said, I think this season of life is over. And so one of the things that I'd always wanted to do was work in finance in some shape or form. And you can't do that when you're an actor. Like when you're an actor, you always have to be on call. you can't just be like, oh, tell a client like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't make our meeting, I have to go to an audition. So that was never something that was in the cards. So when the middle ended, it was kind of like my opening to pivot into something else. And so through a long and serendipitous journey, I got into wealth management, financial advising, and I'm loving it, to be perfectly honest. But the journey took me across the country in 2020 to Tennessee, and then in 2022 I came back to California. So I'm happy to be home, and we're settled in now.
Oh, good.
I have a question, because we usually start, I will say, with how did the middle come into your life?
Yeah.
And I do want to know, however, what I really want to know is, are there ever people who, like clients who you sit down with, who are like, am I getting financial advice from Sean Donahue?
Yeah.
Do you? Yeah.
So yeah, a couple stories. One was when I first started working, and again, like going to work in Tennessee, there's not a lot of like acting industry out there. So a lot of my colleagues were suspicious of me that I was like training for a role. Like trying to be like a method actor. Like, is he just working at this company so that he can like get into the mindset of a financial person so that he can, so that was one. And then I had a client at one point, I was being introduced to him to take over the relationship, and he brought up my IMDb and he's like, so you're an actor? And I was like, I was, yeah. He's like, are you going to go back to acting? He was a little worried. Yeah, exactly. Like, who's managing my money? And so I do get a lot of that, like, you know, are you just, you know, playing a character? And I'm like, no, I'm a terrible, terrible liar. And so you can trust me.
Honestly, once you get past that, if you really are, like, if you're convincing, if you're like, no, this is really it, I feel like if someone were a fan, I feel like then they'd relax into like, oh, I definitely am gonna, like, I trust Bo, but I really trust Sean.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He's someone I trust.
Yeah, luckily my best known role is a very nice, trustworthy,
smart,
competent person. Yeah, so I'm like,
all-American, literal boy next door. Exactly.
Right. The little boy next door. Yeah.
So, Bo, let's back up a little bit. So you were a workhorse, right? And then you were doing, you know, Raising Dad, like we said, you did a million guest stars, and then you went to USC. Now this, I don't know, were you working and going to USC at the same time, or did you take like a 4-month sabbatical from acting while you were at school?
I got dropped by my agents my sophomore year of college because I had a callback with UDK for, I forget which show it was, but I had a callback, and at the same time I had to register for student housing for the following year, and it was like a one-time thing, like you had to be at that place at that time. And so I did the thing where I just didn't tell my reps what was happening and just decided to show up late to the callback. I didn't make it to the callback, and so they dropped me. So yes, I was acting while in college until I destroyed my career.
That is.
But I bet you got good housing.
I got great housing. The only roles I did in college, I think I did The Office and Arrested Development while I was at USC, which were, I mean, great shows, small parts.
Absolutely.
But yeah, then the last 2 years I didn't do anything.
I remember seeing you in both and being like, wait a second. I know him. It was both during binging both of them, and I was like, up. I'm always hitting Cronny. I'm always hitting my husband.
Yeah.
Being like, I know him.
Right.
And he's like, well, I know him.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I still get that. It's like 20 years later, people will see me in that one episode of The Office, and I mean, the accolades are unbelievable. Like that show has gotten me more compliments for the 2 lines that I did on that show than, you know, anything else that I did.
Of course, there's just so many eyeballs on that show, period. So you graduated in 2008, and then because middle was 2009, so what was that 1 year? I assume you got re-represented. Did you like hit the ground running on auditions? Where's that like thought process of, okay, I'm going to continue acting, or I'm going to go take my business major and use that? Was there any kind of that debate after graduation?
Yeah, so it was pretty bad timing. About halfway through school at SC, I decided, like, when I graduate, I want to go into acting. I'm not going to do this business stuff, which is hilarious.
Take the really practical degree and be like, garbage.
Yeah, exactly. This very expensive degree that I'm getting, like, don't need it. And so I graduated in 2008, right before the financial crisis. Little did I know that was a really bad time to get back into acting. I think the WGA had just gone on strike. SAG was threatening to go on strike. So kind of like what we just saw last year. And I graduated with no internships. You know, my resume was pretty old at that point. And so I had nothing. I had no job, no prospects, no agent. And I moved back home with my parents, as 80% of graduates did in 2008. And so I found myself just completely like, what have I done? I have made the worst decision possible. So for a whole year, I had no work, no agent, nothing. And just trying to like get interviews at Starbucks or at Trader Joe's. Because again, you can't do like a normal job. And you can't do a 9 to 5 as an actor, typically. And then, so you want to do something that you were doing like morning shifts or night shifts. And at that time, I don't know if people remember it, but you couldn't get anything. Like I would go to Starbucks and try to get an interview and they would say like, I'm sorry, kid. Like I just hired a mom, like a single mom with 4 kids. Like,
and 3 degrees.
Yeah. Or a PhD that just got fired, you know, like, and so I was like, oh, this is bad. And so it was probably, about a year plus after graduating, I finally got reps. And the middle was the ninth audition that I had with those agents. Yeah.
That's actually a pretty good batting average.
I'm telling you, like the middle's probably the luckiest thing that ever happened to me. Like,
I think that's the case for a lot of people. Absolutely.
Yeah. Cause I don't know what I would have done. I never would have met Daniela. Like, I mean, it's pretty wild to think about how I'm very grateful for that show. So I was so poor. I was so broke. Like I had nothing going on. So the moment I booked that, it was like, it's just the sun started shining. And this episode, the one that you guys are covering right now, The Siblings, was my second episode. Right. And what I remember about that one, I was on set and I was like, I think I'm a recurring character. Oh my gosh, like I could have a job.
Yeah.
Well, I bit through the inside of my cheek. I was so stressed that like my teeth, I didn't know I was doing it. I bit through my like cheek and started bleeding. Like while I was in my trailer on this episode on 109. I remember like it was yesterday. I was so nervous.
Oh, wait. So on your breakdown when you auditioned, did it say guest star? Did it just say recurring? Or did you know it was going to be recurring, or was it a surprise call when they called you in for this episode?
No. So the first episode was Block Party. That was a co-star. So was this one. It was both co-stars. Wow. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And the Block Party one, I actually think it was the 3rd episode that they filmed, but it aired 5th. I want to say that there was some little switcheroo there.
Oh.
And so
there was. You're right.
I think so, because it was a long time after auditioning after filming it that it actually aired. And I remember that audition so well because, I went in, did my thing. I was like, I always played the jock, like the mean jock, or I was always going out for like the mean or dumb jock. And this one is like, you're a nice jock. And I was like, I can play a nice jock. Like, I'm a nice person. And so I did my thing and got called back. And in the room, Ken Whittingham was the director. Eileen and Deanna were in there, and then Deborah and G. And at the end of my audition, Ken was like, hey, have we worked together before? And I said, I don't know. Like, what have you worked on? He's like, Bernie Mac show, Raising Dad. And in the most Sean Donahue possible voice and tonality, I was like, you worked on Raising Dad? Like, so incredibly boisterous. And that's the moment I booked the role. I know it for a fact. Like,
I'll say no amount of acting could ever beat the genuine, like, that kind of, like, if you just are the person, you are the person. And so that's incredible.
Yeah. So, again, just a lot of luck and very thankful for that.
Well, I do remember my first time meeting you was later on this season called the Fun House. But my memory is terrible, which is not so great doing a recap podcast. But I do remember vividly, we were at Video Village, which is a place where everyone's chairs are while you're waiting, to be called onto set. And you were saying, as we were kind of just getting to know each other, that stability was something that like you craved and wanted so badly. I remember that vividly because I'm that same way too, because even I was a junior in high school during that time. And so I was thinking about college, and I knew that I was going to go to college and I was going to get a non-acting major, and I wanted stability and security and stuff like that. So the reason I remember that is because I'm very much like you, and I love stability. I love knowing there's like a steady flow of things coming in. The thing that stresses me out the most, which this is not the greatest industry for, is like, when's that next paycheck coming in? When's the next job? Am I going to be sitting on the couch tomorrow, or am I going to be on set doing something? And you straight up don't know, and that's just kind of the name of the game. But I do remember that stability, which I think is, for an actor, why everyone loved the middle so much, is because they kept bringing us back all the time. It felt like a really nice, consistent 9 years. It was a really nice, consistent job for 9 years.
It was an absolute gift. I mean, truly, I can't believe I talked to you about that. Like, hi, nice to meet you. You know what I'm scared of? Volatility.
I have a question, Bo. Do you have a memory of meeting me? Because I do not remember meeting you. Like, I felt like I feel like you were just on the show. Like, you were just in my life. Like, it was just always, there was never like a moment, there was never pre-Bo. It was just like, yes, the same way. Like, I don't have a memory of, when did we meet?
So I was thinking about that, Eden. I think we never crossed paths, aside from like the table reads where you don't necessarily meet each other, right? Yeah. I think the first scene that you and I had together was the Valentine's Day episode. So like episode 14.
In season 1?
Of this season. And because there's a scene, which we just, of course, Danielle and I just watched this as we were going through, as we're rewatching the middle, as you guys are doing this podcast. Thank you for that inspiration. And so there's this scene where it's like the whole family and then the Bosco boys are all sitting at a booth after the Valentine's Day. And so we had that scene and we shot it on the Warner Brothers main lot. And it was the only time that I ever did a scene on the main lot on Warner Brothers. And so that's when we met. It was like right before the holidays at that point.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I mean, this has been a journey for me also, because obviously I'm also rewatching for the first time. And so like, I literally I'm excited to get to 114. Or whatever the episode is. I do not even remember this episode. I don't remember anything about this.
Yeah.
At all.
It was 15 years ago, Eden. Like, you're not supposed to remember the details, like.
That is true. If someone was like, do you remember meeting a coworker from 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Like, that's, and not that, like, you're wonderful. But when you put it into perspective like that, like, yeah, no one's going to be like, yes, I have such a distinct memory. Yeah. God, that is so crazy. That is so, okay, well.
The scene that I remember filming with you, like where we actually got to work together, is in the, whatever episode, was this the same one that you and I first worked on, Brock? So it's when Sue, like Sean is dunking Sue in the pool as like the first time that Sue like notices her brother's friend. And it's like, I think it's season 2.
Okay.
And then you and I, because you're her ex-boyfriend, and then I'm her future boyfriend. Right. And like, oh my gosh, they're gonna fight. It's hilarious. It's a great episode. Spoiler alert. That's the first time that we like got to work together.
They planted the Sue Sean thing so early.
Very early. Yeah.
Well, that's a question
crazy.
for me, but with. Because you start out, obviously, like, I don't remember, and maybe you do because you were the two filming it, but, like, do you remember when there was, like, a visible shift in you're not just Axel's friend, and you're also becoming a very, very, not just a fun one, like a B storyline in an episode, where you started like to be a through line as, like, part of Sue's storylines as a love interest? Do you remember that shift or when that was? Because that's incredible.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think it happened until, like, season 8 or 9.
Yeah, it was late.
Because Sue like was engaged to Darren for a while.
Right.
Like,
I married him. Didn't you marry? Oh my God! Wait.
No, I didn't. I was gonna.
You bought a tiny house. I remember that. Oh my God! It's all coming back.
He did. God, I really just like went through all of Axel's friends.
Yeah.
I made my way.
Yeah. So no, I don't think they brought that in until after that storyline had completely like ended and there had been a little digestion from it. You know, like you didn't want to just like, Sue be like, friend A, no, friend B, let's go. Like,
yeah. Well, what a fun thing to be able to play throughout the duration of the 9 years, where you weren't just, the nice friend next door. You got to truly have like many your fingers in all the cookie jars with this series. You were able to play a lot of different things with a lot of different storylines, and not just the friend next door. which is nice.
Yeah, it was an interesting role because I was, Axel's friend, I was Nancy and Ron's son, and then I was Sue's boyfriend and ended up marrying Sue. Like, it was a really cool, I felt like a part of the family in a lot of different ways, And so, again, it was just a great show, great cast, great people to work with.
You definitely filled a gap in a way. I feel like adding you as a character, it brought in an instrument that did not exist before and fit with the rhythm of the show. It was oh yes, this is a really good, let's have a, when some bands are oh, we're going to bring in a special keyboard player for this song. And I really do feel that's why I think you fit really well into all the different worlds, was because you did your character, your voice, the whole everything, the tone of Sean really fit, really meshed well with everything.
Well, it was very intimidating to work with the core five, all five of you had such incredible chemistry, the five of you. And working together day in and day out, 12-hour days. I don't know, Brock, if you feel the same way, but coming in, every once in a while, every third or fourth episode, you're I gotta play up to these standards. This is tough. You guys really set the tone very well. So thanks for not making us look terrible.
Yeah, they set the tone, but it wasn't ever well, you better keep up. It felt it was always nice and warm and welcoming, but it was a nice, ooh, they have these really good, for me, the thing that impressed me the most was just, when you go through, whenever you block something for single camera comedies, which is that you have a quick little rehearsal when it's the actors and maybe the DP and definitely the director and a showrunner, right? But that's when the actors are saying their opinions and they want to do this, this, and this, and you're working out the camera blocking. But I do remember that's when I felt oh my God, these are real professionals. They know what they need to do, what camera angle is going to be hitting them at a certain point, and that they need to do this because that doesn't make sense for this character, and them agreeing, and just that workshopping 5 minutes, it was the most intimidating thing because you guys were so 100%. On top of it and knew exactly what to ask and what to just accept and knowing how to do that proficiently and well.
The thing that I remember most about that, I was doing a scene inside the house and it was with Patty, and I walk in, and you know how in the kitchen and the dining room area is just kind of this open space, where are you going to land as an actor? And I walk in to talk to her, and she just looks at me and she kind of uses her fingers
yeah.
Why don't you stand right here? I was thank you, Emmy winner. I appreciate any tips. Any tips you have for me are great. Right. They're welcome.
Right.
She definitely had done that to me. And now I do it. Now I do it to other people. I did it on the short that I just did, where I just kind of took someone by the arm and was scooched them closer to me. I was this is where you will stand.
Yes,
Trust
yes.
me.
Right.
Yes.
Well, it's amazing when you go in and try to do something like that. All human nature leaves your body. You're just oh, yeah, I should stand in the middle of the kitchen. No, you would go stand at the counter next to the person you're talking. But just all those instincts happen to go away when it's finally okay, rehearsal.
And it does, when you're kind of that guest act, you just don't know the rhythm, you don't know how everything's working, and having a gracious main cast is basically there to help you instead of to make you feel like you don't know what you're doing. That was always my experience on the middles. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
That is so nice to hear. Yeah. That is great, because I've had it on the reverse side. I've had it both ways, and it is oh yeah. I was I hope that we did the right way. I hope that was us. I hope that we didn't also, because it's such a, and maybe it's a little different with multicam versus single cam because you're not rewriting on the spot, but I hope we never tried to steal jokes. You know what I mean? I hope we wanted to share the yes, take it, good. Oh, that was so funny. As a guest, take it, fantastic. I'm so happy that you're, because that's that's kind of a thing.
Yeah, no, 100%. How many times I've done so many auditions where it's you go in for the pre-read, and it's multicam usually when this happens, but you crush it and you're really funny, and then you come in and they've rewritten the script to give all the main cast the jokes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it. Yes, their show. Yeah. I forget.
There was also one point where I was working with an actor on an audition, and they put in, for people who don't know, a button in a scene is a little verbal funniness that you do to like tie up the end of your audition. It's not scripted. It's something from usually the actor that's auditioning. And you hope if it's a comedy, it better be funny. And a friend of mine put a little button in and they didn't give her the role, but guess what they took? They added her button into the show.
I bet they did. I bet they did.
It was that funny. It was that funny.
On that note, not the reason why you left acting, but I really do want to talk, because I think this career shift you made it's fascinating and it's admirable to make you made a choice. You definitely, you made a choice. I'm curious, did you know, was there any inkling while you were still, I can't remember if you talked about this at the top of the interview because you sort of talked about it. I'm going to prove myself as a very poor listener now. If you're like, I said this already. But in the last few years of the middle, did you have an idea that this is what you were going to do, or was it really reflecting after the show ended?
What's funny, that's a great question, first of all. I had so many friends in the financial industry, and once every 3 to 6 months, one of them would be like, hey, you would be a great financial advisor. Do you want to somehow get involved in this X, Y, and Z? And I would always say if acting ever ends for me, then I'll do it. But I would always answer that way. And that was always the way that I felt. Because it's when you're acting, acting's special. So many people want to do it. You are so grateful when you get to do it. It's so lucky. But at the same time, it's definitely not something that you want to, in my opinion, give too much to, right? There's a lot of people who have, gone to LA and spent 10 or 20 years, and the industry's never really loved them back. I never wanted to be in that situation. And so when the middle ended, I thought it was kind of a good open door to say hey, you always said that this was the case, that if acting stopped. And look, after being on a show for 9 years where you're getting that much consistency, that's not necessarily coming back, and if it does, you just got won the lottery twice. And so I said I think this is my time. And so when we moved to Tennessee, first of all, Daniela supporting me in that was the other miracle of it, right? She left with me, but it was 2020, and so the whole industry was shut down.
You keep mentioning Daniela. For people who don't know, Daniela Bobadilla played Lexi, which is Sue's roommate from college. We're going to talk a little bit later about that, but you guys are husband and wife.
She put a ring on it.
Betrothed. Yeah. Okay, so she moved to you to Tennessee. Is that when you took, because there was some course you had to take, right?
Yeah, so there were licensing exams I did while I was still in LA. And so I got fully licensed as an advisor, and then I got hired by a company in Tennessee. And so we drove cross country. It was October 2020. 3 weeks after I get there. Was it 3 weeks? It was a matter of days. So no more than 20 days. I get a call from a friend of mine who's a manager. And he says, I'm not sure if you want to hear this, Bo, but Bill Lawrence is asking for you to audition for his new pilot. And I was like, well, I just left. And so Bill, I had auditioned for him a bunch of times. I never really worked with him, but I was kind of on his list of people that he liked. And so I read the script, and that was actually the moment where I had to make the decision. Even you said it as a decision. It was if I open this door back up and kind of answer that siren call, if you will, I know that it's always going to be tugging on me. And so I told him and the funny thing was I didn't have reps. They literally put out a notice on Actors Access being does anybody know where Beau Wirick is? We're trying to get a hold of him. And so I told him hey, just tell him thanks for the opportunity, but I've retired. So
was it for head of the class?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about that is that I had a meeting. I did.
Did you really?
I did. I had a meeting. Bill wanted to meet with me, and so he was I just want to meet with you. And we had a Zoom around that time. He was I want you. I want you for this. And then obviously it didn't go through, but we developed something else together. Because
he was really?
He was I'm a fan of you. I'm a fan of the show. And can I tell you something? I want to tell you something about Bill specifically.
Yeah.
And this should just this is about, because again, Brock and I talk about this a lot, about just being a good person in the industry and how it just pays off. Just be a good person.
Yeah.
He started the interview by saying, because he doesn't need money. He doesn't need it. He works because he likes it. He works because he wants to, because he's a creative. He's great. I have nothing bad. I could not say one bad thing about Bill Lawrence. And he was like, look, I've been doing this a long time. I don't work with assholes. I don't have time. I don't have time for that. I don't deal with it. I don't do it. He doesn't do anything he doesn't want to do.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
And so he was like, so he does his research. He was like, so, obviously I think you're very funny. I'm a big, big fan. We have people in common. So he asked a ton of people. He was like, so I asked, and he listed these people that he asked. He was like, how's Eden Sher? Is she an asshole? Like, is she terrible?
Up.
And he was like, yeah, apparently you are absolutely a delight to be around. So
You are not
let's work together.
an
I'm not. And I was like, oh, I'm not. You're right. So if the reason he asked for you is because he was like, hey, that guy's funny. And then he asked a bunch of people. He was like, is he actually a good person? People vouched for you because you are. And then he doesn't mess around.
Yeah.
He was like, I want him. And you probably could have, I mean, who knows? But like you just should know that like that was real, and like you are a good, I don't mean to be like you should have done it. I mean more like you should be really proud of yourself that you're like a good person and someone wanted you for you.
I was so honored by it, and now hearing more in depth about like his philosophy, I'm even more so. But yeah, that's so funny, Eden. Like that would have been hilarious if we had worked together again on another show like that.
I know.
But yeah, so that was kind of the moment that I knew I was like, I'm. It's not like burning the bridge, but kind of like burning the ships, sort of thing. Like I had to move into the next season.
Well, you have to. It is like, I just want to say, it is like truly. It's like when you have to like block an ex on social media or something.
Right.
It's sort of like if you just keep it's like they text you and it's like, I could respond, well, maybe we're friends. Maybe I could have a friendship. Maybe what if we hook up, it's fine. It's no big deal. It's like, no, it has to, you can't you can't fall down that. Like, I think you did the absolute right thing. It sucks you in. This industry is terrible.
It's like book a flight, you'll book a role kind of thing. Like the moment you leave, like that's when you're going to get the next audition or the next offer.
Of course.
Like, it's just a rule.
Yeah.
What were your emotions, Bo, that was obviously, like you were saying, like that was when the decision happened. Mm-hmm. What were the emotions? Did you struggle? Were you like, no, I'm okay, because that was, I'd already come to terms with it? Or did you have to mourn a piece of your identity a little bit?
Like, if I'm being perfectly honest, I really did have to, like, it was a mourning season, even though like I was stepping into something new. You didn't know what it was going to become, right? And so I started at the bottom. I mean, I was not making a lot of money. I was having to kind of build up from scratch. It was definitely a new beginning. And so there were a lot of times, like during those first couple of years especially, where I was like, I don't think I made the right decision again, and so I did mourn it, because again, when you're doing the job of acting, it's so fun, like you love it. But the career of acting, I mean, you guys know this, like the career of acting is very hard. It is very, very tough on your soul, on your mental health, right? And the instability. And so I was like, I think I had to reassure myself, like, you don't want to go back to the instability. You would love to go back on set. And so, and the funny thing is, I've done like a couple things here and there where it's like friends of mine have been like, hey, can you do this scene in this film for me? Like, and so I've gotten to be on set a couple of times since then, but not doing the whole auditioning game and, all the hopium that you get hooked on. It's really interesting. So yeah, I did have to mourn, like truly. It was a journey for sure.
Well, it's a big identity shift, and whenever you have to go through that process, you have to it's like a breakup. You have to like accept it. You have to go through the steps of grieving, put it to bed, and then step into your new identity, the new role in your life.
I think I talk about this quite a bit in my solo show that I do now.
Yes.
And it's literally called I Was on a Sitcom. And a big part of it is like, even though I'm still, acting, or I'm still, that's my path. The thing is, it's changed so much. And after the middle ended, even then, the whole thing that I talk about is the mourning, is the grieving of such a huge part of my identity. And I think like wrapped up is like Sue was a huge part of my identity, and just being like, okay, that was when I was 17, and now I'm an adult. Who am I? Like, who am I? And then 100%. I got pregnant, like it was like the industry was dead, or it was like 2020. And then I was like, I had to sort of make the decision of like, am I going to start with my husband? We were like, well, maybe we're not exactly in that. We thought we would both be showrunners on our own shows that he's writing and I'm starring in, and we've already been syndicated twice and blah, blah, blah. By the time we like start having kids, and we were like, are we waiting? Are we going to wait to start our lives? And it felt like we were like, oh, like we used the term real life. And we're like, oh, I think this means something. If we're calling this our family life, that's our real life. That's our actual life.
That's great.
And so, and so we were like, we can't wait. You can't wait for your life to start your life.
Yeah.
And so I think it's the same thing, starting a new career, starting a new chapter of your life. You just have to go into it. And even so now, like in my acting career, I've totally reevaluated what my priorities are, what I want to do, how I want to, like, performing live has really done that. Be like, actually, I really like this. What do I want to do? Just spend time with my family, to be honest.
That's right. Like, I mean, Eden, you were always so good, like doing improv and stand up, like these kind of things. Like the live stuff is the hard for anybody watching. Like sitcom is hard, but doing what Eden is doing now, like the one woman show stuff, that's hard. Like live, there's no retakes. You're the only person on stage. It's like Castaway. I mean,
it is.
It's like, you are it. You are it, and that is the hardest thing to do. So
it is.
Yeah.
I think your creative, impulses are probably just hitting new levels at this point. And so that's so cool to see like how the journey has taken you there.
Yeah. I do have a question though. Is there anything from acting that you have taken into your new career? Like, it doesn't have to be like acting, like the actual art of acting, like anything from your time as a professional actor for 20 years. Like, is there any skill set that has that has made it advantageous?
A lot of what I do is basically relationship management. Like you're talking to people about something that's super intimate. It's their money, it's their finances. It's like if you see someone's wallet, like you see kind of into their life a lot. And so the building trust and being able to understand someone's psychology and understand what makes them tick in a non-manipulative way, but just to know them, like to really get to know them and be able to speak to them on that level. Acting plays a huge role into that because the whole work of acting is trying to get into character and to understand people. Like the best actors are the people who understand people and can replicate that well. Yeah. And so in finance, like really you're working with people, and then the second half of it is mathematics, which Brock and I might be the only two actors on earth who can do arithmetic. I don't know. You were a math major, right, Brock? That's why I say that.
I sure was.
Yeah. So it's like that's total left brain, right brain separation. And so those things come together really well in wealth management.
And what are the things that, like, stepping into this new career that you have discovered that you loved that you didn't initially think of that you were going to love as much? Is there anything that you found in this new career? Like, I didn't even realize that I loved that aspect of it, but thank God I found that aspect of it in this financial world.
Colleagues, like honestly, working with great people, like again, the reason why we love the middle so much is because we got to work with great people and got to do it really consistently. And so when you work with in a company with great colleagues where there's not a lot of competition, there's a lot of collaboration, that's the part that surprised me the most, because a lot in my industry, in the world of finance, it's oftentimes very siloed. Like you're on your own, kill what you eat. It's very kind of like self-oriented, and I hate that. And so finding groups of people like Morton Wealth, who I work with right now, like they are just the exact opposite. And so that's the part that's been surprising to me. It's the thing that actually kept me away from that industry the most, is because I didn't want to get into the self-focus of it, which is very typical.
This is our last question.
Okay.
And we do have a little game after this, but we could talk to you forever, but eventually we have to stop, unfortunately. So, last question. We've already covered, you're retired from acting. It's fantastic, like you're living your life. We've made all these choices. We love this for us. But, let's put it out there, there's a middle reboot. are we holding our breath for a Sean Donahue appearance, or are we making peace with it?
If there was a middle reboot?
Yeah, or a reunion or something.
Oh gosh, Eden. all these floods. I think the thing about acting is that it'll always be something that I want to do, right? You know? And so again, like I've done a couple things in a couple films. I think that I would guest on a middle reboot quite easily as a Sean Donahue, appearance.
Great.
But yes,
cool.
they would.
Great. Yes.
Oh,
Great.
Actually, you can take the guy out of the actor, but you can't take the actor. What is the saying? You can take the whatever.
You can take the guy out of acting. You can't take acting out of the exactly. So what you're saying is to the world, Deadline is going to make an announcement. Hollywood Reporter that we can expect if there is ever a middle reboot, a middle reunion, a one-off episode. Sean Donahue can be there.
Yes, he could be there. Just don't.
Okay.
If any of my clients are watching this, I'm still going to be, there for you.
It won't interfere with any work whatsoever.
He's going to have a laptop at Video Village, just we're going to be everyone's going to be coming to you and be like, wait a second, we all haven't worked in 20 years. Give us
Is it a bull or is it a bear market? What should I do? Should I do a 401k or an IRA? What should I do?
Great question.
To wrap things up is we have the blue bag grab. So the middle is infamous for the blue bag. And so for your blue bag, we just have 5 middle-based trivia questions based on your time on the show. So get ready.
Okay.
Get nice and loose.
No pressure. Just reminder, I can't even say the points don't matter. We don't even calculate the points.
Great. That's what I wanted to hear. Okay. Good.
So, question 1. What season did you have the most number of episodes, and what season did you have the least?
I think season 1 was the least, and I think season 3 was the most. That's my answer.
Wrong and wrong.
Wrong and wrong.
I have no idea. My answer is I have no idea.
I would have been stunned if you got this right. That would be an insane thing. When you started to answer like kind of confidently, I was like, oh my God, he has even some idea? That's crazy.
I have no idea.
No. It is season 7, apparently. You had 4 episodes.
Oh.
And season 9, which actually, if you think about it, makes the most sense,
Yes.
I'm realizing.
Yeah.
You were in 10 episodes, which is almost half.
Yeah.
That is
and it makes
a
sense
ton of
because
episodes.
You turned into Sue's whole,
storyline.
That was the through line. It was the whole storyline.
Yeah.
So.
And then I guess the finale was really 2 episodes. So it's kind of,
Was it?
I got a cheat point on that one.
Sure.
Yeah.
We all did.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, okay, so you mentioned that you're watching the middle also, just like Eden, for the first time, which it was just surprising me that you guys don't watch it as they come out, but I digress. So you had just seen this episode.
Wait, can I ask Eden about that really quick?
Yeah.
I don't like watching myself, personally. Like, I really, really, really don't like seeing myself on screen, which is ironic. And so I didn't watch the show for that reason. Why? Is that the same for you, or am I weird?
100%, that is exactly the same.
Okay, great. Okay,
absolutely.
I'm not crazy.
No, that is mortifying. I don't know why anyone would put themselves through that. No.
It's horrible.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know how people do. Like, so many people are doing, social media where they're seeing themselves all the time. I'm like, I don't know how you guys do that.
I don't even watch my own TikToks. I've been making a ton of TikToks, and I just make them. I watch it to make sure that I don't have stuff in my teeth, or if I'm speaking real English, and then I never watch it again.
Right.
I never. Although, you know what's crazy? And we will get through this blue bag grab, is that I, performing live, especially when I was workshopping my show and I was like, really, really, I have to get this to be good, I would film myself for every single rehearsal, every single performance. I filmed myself all 29 shows in Edinburgh, and I watched it back every night. Yeah, actually, I think I did 30 because I did a preview in London before.
Wow.
I realized this literally last night. What it is that if it's, because I don't like watching myself on screen, like when it's a finished product, I can't fix it. I can't do anything about it, and that's terrifying. But with performing live, I watch it and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do something different next time. Like, oh, that didn't work. That did work.
That's
I'll do
so
okay.
smart.
I know.
That's
right?
so smart. Yeah, you actually have to, tweak it.
Yeah.
Are you doing a special? You're filming it for
I'm
something,
going to do a special.
right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And
Good luck.
Thank you. You should come.
Will you and Daniela?
should come.
Will you and Daniela come to LA? Will you sit next to me?
Yeah, absolutely. When is this happening?
Okay, great.
I'll let
you don't
you
have to
know
say it
when
live right now. You can
Nope.
send me a message afterwards.
I'll let you know. Yeah. It's not
right.
set yet, but I will let you know.
Oh, 100%.
Oh yes, Brock. Oh, so wait. Ask this. Ask question number 2, Brock.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Hey, bros. Yes.
Bros.
I'm curious if you'll know, what was your football jersey number?
72 is the number that I'm thinking of.
Okay, here, quick math. Add 11.
83?
There it is.
Yeah. Okay. Ding 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 ding.
Glad I got that right.
Yes, exactly.
Nice.
83, really? Okay, great. 83.
These are tough ones, Brock. Usually we start easy. He did not go easy at the beginning.
I didn't go easy.
No.
I didn't go easy. It's Bo.
No. Okay. Question number 3. I just don't even. I don't know how you're gonna.
Oh
what?
no! Sorry, Bo.
No, this is amazing. I love it.
What was inside the famous snow globe?
I think it was. Oh gosh. Oh, you know what? I just got it confused with. I got it confused with the snow globes that we all got as gifts. And that snow globe, it's like the house.
Yeah, it's the heck house.
What was in the famous snow globe? Disneyland. I don't know is the answer. I don't know. What's the answer?
I don't know either, and it's in my living room.
Oh gosh.
Wait, is it really?
Yeah.
Eden, thank you
sweet.
so much. What's the answer? What is it?
It is apparently a snowy street with 2 white trees.
Oh, okay.
So
That's not the most
basic-
memorable thing. I give us.
But
okay,
you both handled it for a season, so
Yes.
we need to pay attention to those details, you two.
I know. I'm sorry, Brock. We have failed Brock, Eden.
Yeah, I'm just a little. Actually, you might need to sit a row behind me at Eden's show now.
Okay,
as,
right.
As,
Yeah,
as a
you
result
don't want to
of
be
this.
seen
Yeah.
with. Yeah.
I can't. This one you have multiple choice, so this is good. You have 4 different options. What was your final line in the series? A.
My final
It brought
line
us
in the
together.
series?
In the series, so in the
Okay.
whatever that episode was, Heck of a Ride Part 2. Was it A, it brought us to each other, B, I love you, Sue, C, I do, or D, we save each other? He's reliving the episode.
I don't think we said I do at the altar. I think it was
Correct.
just like a narration. So I'm taking that one out.
Correct. Uh-huh.
It's either we saved each other or we brought. Yeah. It's not I love you, Sue. I'm pretty sure. I think it was we saved each other.
So close.
No!
So close.
No! I haven't gotten to season 9 yet, guys. I'm on season 3 right now. Come on.
You did just work through that like it was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You gave it a lot of
Right.
thought. You eliminated,
Yeah.
all you needed was the ask the audience.
Yeah, exactly. I tried my best. You watched my brain process how little information is in it.
That was
So,
very impressive, though. I thought you were going to
Yes.
get there.
Yeah.
But I knew,
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, once he gets to those final 2, that's either you remembered or you don't.
Yeah.
And how would you remember this?
I don't remember.
Yeah, no, it brought us to each other.
Brought us to each other. That sounds more familiar now, of course, because now I
who
know it's the right
knows?
answer.
Well, I mean, I don't even know what that was referring to. What brought us to each other?
I think it's the snow
The
globe.
snow
right?
globe.
The snow globe brought us to each other.
It shatters and you're like, oh no, the snow globe. We don't have the snow globe. And then I know because I just
Yes.
watched this little scene today. And then you're like, we don't need it. It brought us to each other.
Yeah, it fulfilled its purpose.
And then you make out in the middle of the field.
Aw, it's so beautiful.
God, kissing on set is just, that's one of the, like,
So
I love you,
sorry.
Bo, but
Yeah,
it's
I
one of
know.
the worst things any 2 people
I'm
can
so
have
sorry.
to do. You know? No,
I
I
remember-
apologize also.
We had to like make out a lot too. It was like it was like intense. It was just like, all right, you ready? Let's go.
All right, here we go.
And then like, and see, especially sitcom, like, and you have to just keep. I mean, they had those big drone shots, so it was just like kind of unnatural. Like it's making out, but no one actually makes out for that long.
No. It's like
in front of your family.
And we're gonna go, right, with the whole family just being like, "Aw, so cute." Axel's not like turning away or anything.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay, final question.
Okay.
In season 3, episode 24, The Wedding, Bosco was founded. What was the job that they were hired to do?
The job that we were hired to do was to remove a stump.
Ding, 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 ding.
Hey.
Nice.
You go out on a high, and that's all that matters.
I'm really glad about that. Yeah, I liked that episode. I remember that episode a lot. I thought it was very funny.
It was a fun episode.
Stuff.
Were you? Because you were at the wedding too. I was at the wedding. We all had really good storylines. I do remember, and then we all came together for that final like dance little bit. Do you remember that?
For the dance? Yeah, I actually do.
Yeah.
And I remember the crane shot specifically.
Yes.
And being like, I hope I don't look like I don't know how to dance.
And Eden has a blank stare on her face. She has no idea what we're talking about.
I don't even who got married? Whose wedding was this?
Russ, right? Mike's brother?
Yeah, the brother. Yeah.
Oh, the late great Norm Macdonald.
Yes. The late great Norm
And
Macdonald.
Mary Birdsong, who's
Mary
also
Birdsong,
actually
who's
incredible.
in everything. She's in everything.
Yeah.
I can't escape her. She's in everything.
Yeah. And who would want to?
I know, right? One last thing, one button for this episode.
Yes, please.
Calling it back. The funniest line of the middle, in my opinion, is none other than one of yours, Brock's. And
What
it's
is
the
it?
first episode that you and I did together, I'm almost certain. And you're tap dancing on the porch. And Mike comes out, and because you're waiting for Sue, and Mike comes out, he's like, "What are you doing here, Brad?" And you're like, and the line is, "I'm just keeping my thighs hot while Sue grabs my colander." And once you get to that episode, I just want you to, like, this is my hope, that you focus on that line, because it is the funniest delivery and the funniest line in the whole series, in my opinion. And my friends and I, still to this day, will say it to each other.
That is so sweet.
I'm just keeping my thighs hot while Sue grabs
That's so sweet. Thank you. That is that's very nice.
You can cut that out if you want to out of this episode, but I think people need to know that that's coming up.
Patreon gets everything, so
okay, there you go.
At least the big wigs are definitely getting that.
Yeah, there you go. So just a little homage to Brad Bottig.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. You're so sweet. Well, Bo, this was so fun. This was the best way to spend an hour.
Yeah, this was
Couldn't
wonderful.
agree
This
more.
is really, really nice. Really nice.
Thank you guys for doing this podcast. Like, it's so lovely to get all of us together again and get all the fans together watching the show again and reuniting. It's just wonderful. You're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Well, thank
Thanks,
you.
Bo.
You're so sweet.
Yeah.
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 And you're a terrible liar, so we know you mean it.
I'm a horrible liar.
Yeah.
We are so excited to have your wife, Daniela, for our live watch here in about a week now when this is released. So can't wait. We are so happy we get to see you, and I'm so glad you're in Los Angeles, so that means we get to see each other more. So I love
am
you,
too.
and thanks so much for doing this.
Love you guys too. Thank you so much for having me, and I'll see you at your show, Eden.
Yes.
So let me know when it is and where.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yay.
Bye, Bo.
Okay, great.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Ooh, that Beau Wirick. You can tell he is someone who's raised well. And we obviously saw it in the interview, but you can also tell that I was able to tell from when I met him for the first time, which is from an episode later on in season 1. He just when he met my mom, hand out, extended, "Hi, I'm Beau Wirick, so nice to meet you." Just he's someone who was raised very well.
Yes.
Just always my first impression of him, and continues to have that.
I feel like a schlub whenever it is. Like, I'm like, my posture gets better when I stand around him. I'm like, oh God, I guess I should be standing up straight.
Oh, but I do love that guy. We should have him on again.
Yeah.
It's sooner than later.
Yes.
Okay, so today, instead of a question, we have a really, really wonderful email. This choked me up the first time I read it. But it says, I was just listening to episode 5 of the podcast, which resonates on so many different levels. My husband and I are watching the series with our almost 9-year-old, who's very fringe on the spectrum and is gender creative. He likes to wear dresses sometimes, loves pink and the classic neutral glitter. We got back to school mani-pedis on Monday. We don't sport ball up in here. The kid was raised on a steady diet of show tunes and Taylor Swift. It's very sweet.
Love it.
He's always been adamant that he's a boy and gets mad when the kids call him a girl. Lately, he's avoided wearing dresses and will wear cute cat leggings and sometimes sparkly skirts. A couple of weeks ago, we were playing the board game Life, and when he got to the marriage space, I asked if he wanted a blue peg or a pink one. It caught him off guard, and he blinked a few times, went back and forth, and finally decided he wanted a wife. Not long after, he tentatively started saying that he liked both boys and girls, and he asked if that made him gay or just a little gay. I explained how some people like boys and girls and used the word bi. He told me he thinks that's what he is. And then he asked if I still loved him. Without missing a beat, I said, of course, I don't care who you love as long as it's a good person who is good to you and makes you happy. Fast forward to literally 3 nights ago, when we got to the coming out episode. I thought it was so beautifully done. Your faces, your body language told us everything we needed to know about your characters and Brad's journey. I teared up. The kiddo asked why I was crying, and I told him it was because I thought Brad's coming out scene was pitch perfect. His eyes got wide, and he said, wait, Brad is gay? I need to see this again. He is such a great kid, and watching the show as a family has been fun. He does the Sue dance now when he's happy, and we all break into brick whispers at random. Sometimes he'll watch the scene go, oh, Frankie, like a little old man. Sorry for the long message. It was such a coincidence that you mentioned the scene right after I watched it, and I wanted to offer our take. Lara. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. That got me a little, got me misty also.
First and foremost, Lara, please tell your son that Eden and I say hello and thank you so much. And we love that you love the show and that we also love that he loves the show as well. And just from one kid who likes show tunes to a mother who has a kid who also likes show tunes, I think you're doing a fabulous job as a mother. I'm sure you know that, but from someone who's been there, done that, oh my God, are you setting him up for the most amount of success and happiness in life? You are doing amazing things. And he's 9, so he doesn't probably have the wherewithal to realize just how lucky he's got it. But oh my God, I'm here to tell you, oh my God, he is so lucky to have you. And oh my God, thank you. Thank you for doing what you're doing. You're doing great things.
I really love how much, I think it's hard to realize how much Brad, I feel like, means to people and little kids and families with kids, because especially, like, I just feel like it's either, I feel like gay characters are sometimes just punchlines. Even now, you don't see, I feel like in a family show really like The Middle, they either steer completely clear of anything. They just like don't include this part of life. Yeah, that was a great letter, and I'm really happy that I'm so happy that you're in my life. I'm so happy that Brock is in my life because of it, and that was a great letter. Yeah,
I completely understand what you're saying. I really like that the show. We kind of talked about this a couple episodes ago. Like I couldn't decide if I felt some type of way about not mentioning the word gay or whatever. But what I appreciated was they found a thread with Brad. Brad was generated because of Sue, and then once I was there in the world, then they established his role and what was important to him, which is his friendship and how loyal he was and what a good friend and his bright optimism, just like Sue. That's what they expanded upon, as opposed to continually it's not a character where they're punching down all the time.
Yes,
so I am proud of the show, and I'm glad that we have a family show that shows that aspect of it as well. And also too, I think, thank you for saying all that lovely stuff about Brad. I think it's the same thing with Sue, and if someone can't quite literally see, if they're not a teenage girl like Sue, the thing that they either relate to or like to hope to they someday have in themselves is Sue's optimistic nature, her go-get-em attitude, the life never gets her down. It's these letters that we keep getting into our inbox that, you know, that we're sent is just, it's a constant reminder that characters do mean a lot to people, and I'm glad you guys resonate with them and connect with them. Whew, okay.
On that note.
Yeah.
On that note. On that note, rate our podcast.
Please do. Rate, follow us on all the socials. I mean, truly, Eden and I have been recording. I'm sure if you're listening to this on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts, there's probably a lot of me and Eden that you didn't just listen to. So if you want even more content with, of course, our guests, but with Eden and I, go to Patreon. It's truly so, we have a blast over there. There's so much because it's not just filtering out conversations that go long. We're cutting out entire fun sections and tidbits. And like we had a couple weeks ago, Vicki Lewis in the Patreon, you should only know if you subscribe to Patreon, had an 8-year relationship with Nick Nolte. So if you're on, if you listen to us on Spotify, you didn't know that. But if you're on Patreon, you did know that.
You want the tea in the 90s with the 90s sitcom people and Nick Nolte? Subscribe. We do have so much fun. And if you want more updates, follow us on all socials at Middling Pod, and live watch. Again, only on Patreon. If you're a subscriber, come to the live watch. It's so much fun. Sunday, September 29th. Daniela Bobadilla. Be there.
Or be square. Bye.
Bye.